Good evening, everyone. I apologize for the slight delay, so I'll call to order the December 6th meeting of the Wilton Town Board. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we start the meeting, we have a reporter from Saratoga and wants to take a picture of us while we're all here. Yeah. John Wilton.
Come on, guys, smile.
Okay, Francine, whenever you're ready.
One more. Thank you so much.
Okay, roll call.
Supervisor Johnson?
Here.
Councilman Stryker?
Here.
Councilman Bogardus?
Present.
Deputy Supervisor Lamb?
Here.
Councilman McEachran?
Here.
Okay, as usual, we open the meeting with public comment. Is there anybody signed up for public comment? Oh, somebody new. Eric.
It'd be fun if I didn't have something to say.
Oh, that's for you.
I know, 3 minutes, I know.
Yes, okay.
Eric Rosenberg, I don't think I need to put them probably here anyway. Eric Rosenberg, 16 Crawl Lane. A couple things have been said about me lately, and I thought I would address those. First of all, I do not have a vendetta against anybody in this town. For the most part, I don't know you people, really. I don't get invited to your barbecues and whatever, and I don't really know the employees. What I do have a concern about is that people follow the law, and people do their jobs competently and appropriately. So, and in this case, with regard to our zoning department, I've had concerns, and serious concerns. So the next thing is, it was said by Mr. Schachter at one of the meetings that no answer would ever satisfy me. And that's really not true. Answers that don't satisfy me are, we've always done it this way. It's not really an answer. You know, any business, and the town is really a business. When it's small, you know, you don't need so many procedures and everybody can sort of do their thing. But as a business gets bigger, too many people involved, and procedures are necessary, and people need to be accountable. You know, and with all of you, I would assume you work for companies or have your own companies, and I assume you follow procedures. You have procedures. I had a business in Florida once. It was just me. I had my own procedures because it just makes sure that you don't miss anything. It seems, and again, so the question is, what is the objection to having procedures? What is the objection to holding people accountable for doing their jobs right? And what is the objection to having people document what they're doing? If an inspection is done on a property, document it. If something is done, document it. You look in the files and there's just nothing there. And again, how many of you work for businesses that outside of the town that would be acceptable? So my involvement all started was, I asked some very simple questions at meetings. For instance, I went to my first zoning board meeting, there was a permit renewal. I asked a very simple question. What's the procedure? I just wanted to learn. What's the procedure for renewing permits? Ultimately, the answer is, there is no procedure. Well, that doesn't seem to make sense to me. I asked Mark Mikens, I said, do you go in connection with a renewal? Do you inspect the property? I inspect a lot of properties. He says it's in the minutes, by the way. I said, no, in connection with a specific renewal, do you inspect the property? And the answer is no. Okay? So what happens is I start asking more questions, and I don't get any answers. So the first round was, I tried to get meetings, nobody wanted to meet with me. And then I got letters from Mr. Schachter who told me we don't have to meet with you and talk to you about anything. And then I started writing letters, and nobody's responding to my letters. So this is really not all that complicated, guys. I see something happening. Here are the facts. here's what I think the law says. If you disagree, why are we making a big fuss? Say, Eric, we disagree. Here's why. Again, not because we've done it this way all the time or ignoring it. Eric, look, you said this. Here's our, what we think happened. This is what we think the law said, and we'll talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about it. So now what happens? I get yet another letter from Mr. Schachter full of lies and mischaracterizations and using words that do not accurately reflect what I'm doing and what's been happening, again, to shut me down. What are you people so afraid of to talk to people? Let's talk these things out. Let's work things out. I'm a smart guy. You're smart people. Let's talk about it. Let's not keep doing this because it's only going to keep getting uglier and uglier. I don't want that, and you don't want that. Let's talk about it. We can agree to disagree. We can talk about things. We can come to mutual understanding. But this doesn't work and help for anybody. Why are we going here? So I will, again, make my offer. I am willing to meet and sit down with anybody at any time to discuss my concerns like people.
Okay,
not
Eric,
this.
thank you. Joanne Klepetar.
Hello.
Hi, Joanne.
I don't think it's working, Joanne.
So
I couldn't tell, Eric.
I had a copy of Sarah Cover today from several weeks ago, and it disappeared off my dining room table, but I wanted to talk about sidewalks, for one thing, in the Hamlet zone, and I was very envious when I heard that Malta was going to be putting in sidewalks, and they got this huge grant. And so that's one of my things. The other thing is, while I was on the board, I brought up many times about reinstating the position of planner in the town. And I was shot down over and over again. I was told that nobody would come to our town as planner because of the history that we had. The other thing I was told is we don't need one. So I think, given the growth that we have, it's ridiculous that we don't have a planner that is just a planner. That's all. Thank you.
Thanks, Joanne. Okay, next we have the minutes pending from our November meeting. Is a motion to approve the minutes from November?
I'll put forth the motion to approve November's minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Lant. Okay, any comments, recommended changes? Okay, none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So moved. Typically, we have Margot Olson, Director of the Wilton Wildlife Preserve and Park, do a quarterly report. So it's her time again, and we'd love to hear from you, Margot, and all the good things that are happening at the park.
Thank you. It makes the year go by quickly, these quarterly reports. I feel like I was just here, and here I am again doing another report. There were copies on the back table there. I don't know if everyone got a chance to pick them up. I included also on the back our upcoming events and activities that will be coming up in the next month. So if you aren't interested in the report, you can grab it if you're interested in the activities that are going on. And you can always check on our Facebook page, on our website, to see what we have going on as well. So I encourage everyone to participate in some of the activities and programs we have over there. I know many of you do, but if you haven't, it's a wonderful facility over there. Thanks to the hard work that is done by many people here at the town to maintain the buildings and the parking lots and everything for public access over at Camp Saratoga, the Nealman parcel over at the county. There's work going on right now with Mr. Kirk and his group improving access by putting on the horse trail that'll go along Scout Road and continue to link Camp Saratoga to the other town park over at Gavin Park as part of that long-term plan. Some of you were at the Bicentennial Trail opening. It was part of the Bicentennial festivities, and that was, the ribbon cutting was right at Camp Saratoga by the pond, and the goal is that that trail will link Camp Saratoga, the facility that the town has there on Scout Road, all the way over to Gavin Park, through the new trails plan that's in place, through the development that's going to be taking place over, I forget what it's called.
Forest Grove.
Thank you, Forest Grove.
Yes.
So there'll be trails through there so people in those new neighborhoods will be able to access not just Camp Saratoga, but over to Gavin Park, and then it'll be just part of the trail linkage that we see happening all over the county, all these trails, these natural sites that talk about the importance to quality of life and all the things that come from people being able to go places when they're not in their cars for health reasons, for all kinds of reasons. So thank you to the town for all your support for all of those things. I saw many of you just, I guess, last month at our Wild About Blue fundraiser. We honored Laura Clark for her work with the Saratoga Striders and the library, getting people outdoors, both recreation and environmental education. So that was a nice event. And what's also nice is that we brought in almost $25,000 that helps to support our programs and activities at the Preserve and Park, mostly for our internship program. Many of you know our interns, Aaron and Tori, they come over here to Town Hall and do coffees and do things. And so, and then we also have a part-time education coordinator that's helping to further the mission and the program and get the public more engaged and have more activities going on. So, all of those things, I guess it's over a year end. It was a very good year. We just had our annual meeting on Monday night, and we went through all of the different activities that have gone on this year. Our attendance was up. Our fundraising and donation income has been holding strong. Our grants have been going well, so we're able to, at year end say that, we're solvent, we're doing well fiscally, and we're able to support and continue doing our programs into the coming year. So that's all good news. So I know many of you are very interested in our winter activities, so hopefully we'll have a good snowy winter, and we'll be ready for this grooming program. I know Scott from maintenance, took the ATV over to get it serviced, so we'll be ready for grooming. So we appreciate the town helping us with transporting that with that piece of equipment for us so we can get that serviced. And we'll be starting grooming hopefully in just a few short weeks. The DEC allows us to start grooming once we have about a foot of snow on the ground after December 15th. So the other thing that I know people are interested in, and it's on the back here, is our Moonlight Ski and Snowshoe event. That's scheduled for January 19th. I just sent out a call for volunteers, so if anyone wants to help, we're always looking for people to help. And we'll be having registration this year, as we started doing last year, just for the overwhelming number of people that want to come. We want to make sure that the parking lots are able to accommodate people and that it's safe for everyone who comes and that they have a nice experience and they don't feel that they're having a trail traffic jam experience. So hopefully we'll have all the conditions. We'll have a great event in January. So I think that covers most. I didn't go over everything, but people can take a peek at that.
Margaret, thank you.
Any questions?
Only great compliments of all the great things you're doing over there, both recreation and environmental and conservation, so it's great. So.
Well, again, we're so appreciative of the support of the town, and we really could not do it without all of the support that we get, both from all of the manpower and all the different departments here that contribute so much, and then with the operating grant that really does make a difference for our ability to be able to continue doing the programs for the public.
Any questions of Margot or the board or anyone?
Thank you.
Thank you. Margot.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a couple of appointments. Dean Colligan, he's on the ZBA. His term is up, so we were looking to reappoint. He has indicated he wanted to be reappointed. His appointment would take effect January 1st, 2019, through 12/31/2025.
I'll put forth
I
the
make a motion to appoint Dean Culligan again, the ZBA for 2019 to 2025.
Second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. To the planning board, we have Ron Sloan. He's been a good town board member. His term is up. Again, his reappointment would take effect January 1st, 2019 through 12/31/2025.
I make a motion to reappoint Ron Sloan to the Wilton Planning Board.
Second it.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. The Historic Preservation Board, we have two people that their term is up. Elizabeth Harrington and Jean Waters. As you know, Jean Waters is our...
I make a motion to appoint them both.
Jean, I just wanted to mention that Jean is retiring as historian, but she still wants to be on the Historic Preservation Board.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have a request for a speed limit reduction on Ingersoll Road from Route 50 to the Saratoga Springs line.
Kurt, put a sign up.
Make a motion that we try and get that done.
Yeah, I mean, the process is it's got to be forwarded to the county.
We've been lucky with everyone, with
It goes to the county, then to the DOT. You know, we don't have the jurisdiction to do it ourselves, so they will evaluate the traffic and do a study and see if it's warranted. I think it's currently 40 maybe, or 45.
45.
And to see if it's, a reduction is warranted. So the motion would be to pass it on to the county DPW for evaluation and forward to the state.
I'll make that motion.
They put a letter in there, what's going on around it, that's why we want it.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So moved. Okay, under committee reports, I wanted, I'm gonna actually, the building committee, which is Dwayne and myself, and along with Ryan and Mark Wykins. I just want Ryan to report on the progress of the court building renovations.
And Gavin Park.
Okay, Gavin.
Let me talk about all of them, or
Just
everything?
because the one that really needs to be addressed
Okay.
to move on is the court building.
All right. So for the court building renovations, a email was sent out November 16th to the entire board with the renovation plan for the court and renovating the interior of the court. The court staff is in favor of this renovation. There'll be interior renovation done by town staff. The exterior of the building requires a new roof, new insulated building, new windows. That's going to be contracted out. In order to do that, we need to come up with some design. There's going to be additional canopy constructed in the front of the building for the entrance, and also there'll be a new entrance placed for the sheriffs to use when they're bringing in prisoners and stuff. So they'll have a separate entrance for that. So it's going to require some engineering to be done. We have to go out to bid for this work. So looking for the board to approve this this phase of work, and for the town to enter an agreement with MJ Engineering to do this design work for lump sum fee of $39,800.
Yeah, I should mention that the funding is already in the capital project budget for this. This is just to move the project along into the next phase. That everybody's okay with the design and or the conceptual plan, and have the design done.
Did we get numbers on this?
You know, I brought this up a few years ago about a new court building. And then we talked about adding the seniors to it, addition, the town hall, to about 5 or 6 $1 million. It's a lot of money. So then come to find out the seniors were happy where they were. We forgot about the addition here. We bought a piece of property, put the new court building, so we wouldn't affect the court from operating. And we spent for that probably $140,000.
Plus we paid for
Plus, it's a good thing
engineering.
to have. Kept having meetings. And the court's for it now because they know they're not going to get a new one. Because I talk to them all the time, and I can't believe the feelings changed. And we have going out with meetings. Then we're told our building department could refurbish that building for $800,000, which is really cheap. But I know it's an old building, it's been cobbled, probably built 3 different layers. But the last thing I see, we're up to like 1.4 million. And I think just the court building itself and that piece of property was probably 2.7 or 2.8.
It was cheap, but it wasn't as cheap as 800,000.
No. But I know when that gets done, it'll probably be $1.9 million. I just think you're throwing away good money after bad. You know, I'm still for a new building.
Just, John, those estimates were based on contracting everything out with the,
First estimate, we were told we could do it for
When we got off the board-
Because I said right then and there, you mean you've wasted 2 years of my time when you could have built it for 800? We've done the building, just foolishness in my book. You're just throwing good money after bad in my book.
Since it was thrust upon me about being a part of this committee, which I was not originally, we've had multiple and countless meetings with court people, along with seniors and everybody. Seniors are happy with their current building. They are not in the desire to get a new building. We've had probably 6 or 8 since I've been on this committee. I'm not sure if I'm chairman of it. I know there was a changing of the guard. But since I've been on this committee, we've incorporated the judges and all of the staff in on the design, and they are very happy. They've also told me that they don't want a new court building. They didn't want a new court building. They just wanted something different and safer. So this design that we've come up with is a culmination of a lot of us, the building department, engineering, judges, and court people have all sat down many, many meetings, and we've come up with the best solution for the most economical bid. Granted, everybody would like a new court building. Last time I heard, it was over $3 million. Again, I've come into this halfway through the whole process, but right now, sitting down with the 2 judges, well, 1 judge is the primary spokesperson, and all the office staff, they are very happy with what we are doing, and they're looking forward to progressing with what we have planned.
So what's the latest total that we have right now that you have, just a guesstimate? I know it's not 100% accurate, but
I don't have numbers.
It's
Ryan?
1.3.
1.3 million?
that's using existing staff, our staff for the interior?
Number. That's what we're being told is conservative number with a new roof structures added onto the building, additional skin to the building.
Can we sell that piece of property that we bought and cover some of the expenses? Because, I mean,
It's your guys' call.
We can
seems to
only
me
sell
like
property, but-
we bought the piece double what it was worth to put a court building up. And like John said, the original concept was for a court and seniors. The seniors don't need a new building, but I can tell you one thing, we spent countless meetings talking with the judges and the staff, and they were all for a new building too. But like John said, when they knew they weren't gonna get it, they're gonna settle with whatever we give them, basically. But to eliminate the senior building and just build a court building on the piece of property that we already own, we can still conduct court, business can still run, and I know that number's not gonna be $3 million. to put a new building up, just for the courts. That hasn't been talked about.
We didn't purchase that property just to build.
Yes, we
court
did.
building.
Absolutely
That was the
did.
reason for it.
Absolutely did. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to spend taxpayer money on, we got 2 bids.
We
on
would have bought
remember?
that property to have
The
regardless.
property
The
was
reason why we
valued.
bought it was for that court building.
It was valued at a certain number. The reason we were able to go to a higher number is because we could put it to use. Now we're not putting it to use.
Well, the determination was made that
Well,
we're not going to
the
build
numbers
it.
that we had originally set for that new building, $3 million, could have been
$3.2 million.
That was
No site
conservative.
work. That
No
was-
site work, that was just that. So there might be another couple $100,000.
This will accomplish everything they wanted to do with different holding cells, separate bathrooms, separate entrances. It'll accomplish everything the court people wanted over there at a third of the cost.
I think saving the town of Wilton and the taxpayers $2 million is a lot of money. And I think it's worth doing.
That's a savings of $2 million? I don't get that part. Did we actually propose?
Well, no,
Did we get a number to put a court building on the vacant property?
Yeah, we did.
I thought it was 2.7 or 2,
It was 3 something, whatever.
No, that was with the seniors.
Back in-
That was like
That was-
6.
That was just a court
just
building.
a court building.
Yeah, June of 2017, there was a rough estimate for just the court building, no site work, just the building itself at $3.2 million.
What have we paid these guys so far on the J?
Probably 60,000.
Yeah. No, it wasn't even that. So, whatever. Eric?
Just want to make sure I'm being called on.
Yes, I am.
Just for clarification for those of us here, a while back, I guess there was an article in the paper that that there was a new courthouse and senior center under consideration, and that there was going to be some different level of, part of the reason for the new courthouse was it was going to be a different level or something. Can you just explain to us in the meantime why that isn't happening, and sort of fill us in a little bit about what's happened in the meantime to change the whole thing?
No, it's basically, we had a vision, which we
Money.
would like to do.
Money.
Pardon?
It's money.
Well, that's what it is, it's money, yes. We didn't want to spend $6 million.
And I have no problem
To
with the
accomplish.
numbers that you came up with. You saved the town $1.5 million. But that's a speculative number. 1.4, it started at 800, now it's at I'm sorry, what were the numbers?
But that was also, I believe,
Without the exterior skin.
without
We
town
had a letter
staff.
from the building department.
This could be done for $800,000.
Yes.
Wasn't
Right, that was the interior design.
That was when
No
me and
building, no
Mr. Lant
building.
removed ourselves from that board when we were told that we're wasting our time, we could have this thing done for $800,000.
And you know what, it'll turn out to probably be $1 million.
Oh, I know what it turns out to be. I know what buildings around here, municipalities cost when they go in front of the tax.
800, $1 million,
they-
$1 million,
they-
you can't be
They present it at $1 million, and the next thing you know, they're $2 million.
It's not gonna happen.
Well, that's how it works with fire departments.
Well, the other building could be, the new building could be 3 million and go to 4.5 million. I don't know.
You're absolutely correct.
So,
So
I
this-
think saving the town of Wilton
Well,
$2 million.
there's no speculatives on a new building.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't know
numbers.
what we,
You don't know, when you remodel something,
The previous specs were what, 3-point-something million? And right now, with the rehab of the new building is 1.3, so there's a $2 million
With a big
on an old
contingency.
speculative versus if we do an update now, it's obviously going to go up.
And this is based on the current design that has been signed off by the court people and everybody else. And there's a huge contingency in there.
and that's with engineering fees, 1.3.
That's the estimate, yes. So what we're looking for tonight is, if we're gonna move this project forward, the money's already in the, we have a capital project established for the court building. This is just to move forward with the design that had been sent out to everybody, which we didn't get any negative comments back on the design that we had sent out. And that's what, to move the project along. We're not looking for any more additional funding, it's just to use part of the capital project to have MJ, approve MJ for the design work.
When is this going to be
Supposed to go out
proposed
to
to
bid
be?
in January.
When's it going to be built?
Probably go out to bid more February,
February now?
March.
Some of the work...
What are they doing with the courts to remove them?
The court staff, that was one of their big concerns. They did not want to be relocated, so they are going to stay within the building and continue functioning as is, probably just move their offices.
So they're going to build a building around them while they work?
The exterior work will be done by a contractor, that's why.
That's
the
what
interior
this
work is-
design is. Scott's office is being moved out, the DCO is going to be moved out, the historian, we're making space in the senior building for her to accommodate the required space for the court.
Some of the work's going to be done off hours when the court employees are not on site.
I make a motion, we move forward.
Excuse me, Art, can I just ask one more clarification, please?
Yes, Erica?
It was my recollection when the courthouse was first at least reported in the paper, and I recall something said at a meeting, that because of the regional nature of what this new courthouse was going to be, that the town of Wilton was not going to be paying for it. Was there at some point that was part of the plan? I'm just asking for clarification.
There was something going on.
There was a grant we could get for $30,000 a year.
$30,000 we get every year.
You'd get it, but that was to make it, I don't know if this is even eligible for that grant.
No, it
As a
had nothing to
remodel.
do with the construction part of it.
It's up to current DCJS standards that
Yeah.
the grant was dependent upon.
Weren't they asking also to have people brought here to have special court?
I think
That's not going to happen in this building.
No.
It's a
No,
remodel.
that was never...
But I'm saying that, I remember
That was
that's what one of the...
that was brought up in a
Judge
meeting.
Town brought that up in a meeting.
I think it was something proposed by the state to have regionalize the
Has the
court.
court system approved all this?
The Office of Court Administration,
Yes.
they were involved in the beginning. My understanding, when Jeff was here, he was looking into it.
They have to prove it.
Well, it's more of an advisory overseeing, not, they don't have to.
So this is not going to be built for their standards?
It is. It's going to have separate holding cells. It's going to have a separate.
There was a
main
lot of
bathroom.
standards, like judges' chambers,
It's going to have those.
sit-in judge chambers, and
It's going to have, district attorney's office. It's going to have a public defender's office. It's going to have separate meeting room.
The engineering firm has been in consultation with is it OSC?
Office Court Administration.
Yeah. On this, and, yeah, they have no problem with the design.
So you put forth a motion?
I
Jeff?
did.
There was a motion, I don't know if
I'll
there's...
second it, or just, Wayne, go ahead. Doesn't matter.
Okay. Is there any further discussion or questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So moved. Thank you.
I have a quick thing for,
Committee report?
committee report. I'd like to give a big thank you to Friends of Wilton Recreation. They're going to be donating $11,000 for a new PA system at Gavin Park. This will be a big help. Basically, run through their Buy a Brick campaign that they have at Gavin Park. And also, they have a big run on Community Day, a 5K run that they hold, and raises a lot of money for that, plus other sponsorships. So I want to say thanks again for all the hard work that they do to help improve Gavin Park and Wilton Recreation.
Supervisor Johnson. I'd like to also report that we are kind of meeting some of our, last year we had bought a new pavilion. In order to get that erected this year, which is going to end up being in the spring, we had to relocate the existing pavilion, which has now been completed. It's been relocated into a spot that's been agreed upon by, I believe, everybody here. So that building has been relocated, the pavilion has been relocated. I went out and looked at it the other day, and it looks pretty good. Obviously, we do have some site work to finish it off, but the building has been anchored and relocated to make room for the new pavilion.
Yeah, good work by Scott and Mark and the
Yes.
building department, and I know they're starting the site clearing for the new pavilion so that we can get that going in the spring. So, thanks to the building department.
Scott's really spearheaded it.
Yeah, that's great.
I just got John, do you have anything on committee reports? Do you have anything on committee reports? No. There's a couple announcements. Tomorrow is the annual tree lighting ceremony at Gavin Park. It's a really good event, great family event. I encourage everybody to come out. Fire department's involved, and the Gavin Park staff. It's just a really nice holiday event. It's 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Begins at
8:30, yeah.
or 8:30, okay. Begins outside, and then there's a lot of activities in the gyms.
And Santa Claus will be there.
He'll come in on a fire.
And it's Hanukkah, by the way.
Yeah, and happy Hanukkah.
Menorah as well.
Yes, happy Hanukkah.
And the park staff does the decorations over there are just really good. You'll be very, very appreciative and impressed by all. And the other event is, the last bicentennial event of the year is the 29th of December at the Saratoga Wilton Elks. It's a community dinner. There are still tickets available. There's $20.18. And that's the last of our 2018 bicentennial events, so it should be a good time. There's music, entertainment, good food, and a good social event.
I got one. I'm on committee still. I do have a report for committees. I don't.
Okay.
Kurt, you got your... All right. Kurt approached me. There's a pump truck on Auctions International that's gonna benefit the town on these new subdivisions where it allows us to pump these drains that are deeper than 8 feet. At first I was a little, but after looking into it, it probably does make sense with that development that was approved, Molson Farms. It's a jet pump. We can pump them, and we can also clean them. Right now, when they have to rent that truck, it costs us like $12,000 to rent it.
How often we run it?
It could...
Not often enough.
It's a per day rental, too.
Yeah, it's a day.
It's periodic. Maybe I can better get it out than this.
Yeah, why don't you stand up and come on up here, Kurt, and
What's your address?
state your name and your position.
We were contemplating on this for a long, long time, and with the additional work that's being put on the highway department, is we have a machine that we do with it now. Actually, we got two in there on our sweepers. They are not really a jet system and a vac system, even though they have a vacuum thing on them. It's minimal what we can use it for. We're good at probably 8, 9, 10 feet, but we got structures in this town now, even new ones, that are 15 feet or more. We can't do them, and some of them we can't even get off the road to do them because our sweeper won't go off the road. We were contemplating on this for 4 or 5 years. Nothing ever became available. It's a very expensive piece of equipment. It's $480,000 brand new. The town that has theirs for sale has remodeled theirs 2 years ago, spent $40,000 on it to remodel it, and after they got done remodeling it, the board down there decided to buy a new one. So they've got their new one in place now, and they're selling the old one that's in good shape. I sent one of my foremen and our mechanic down, we looked at it, got all kinds of pictures, and it's on Auctions International. Originally, we were told that maybe they would sell it without it being on Auctions International, and their controller has said no, they're going to let it go the duration on Auction International, which is okay too. I'm just sending an email to you folks giving me permission to follow Auctions International and see if we can get that machine forward with a limited amount of money. When we're doing our job now, Frankie, for example, will take a crew out and do structures. He needs a vacuum, so we pull our sweepers off and send them over to help him.
You will not believe the phone calls in the summer when you go to sweep our road.
Yeah.
My liaison asked me if we need 2 sweepers. We need 2 sweepers, and we actually need 3. But we can get by with 2.
Yeah, we're only-
We got 220 center lane miles of road right now, and you don't realize the amount of time it takes to get that done. This piece of equipment will let us get off the road and do our job better. We don't have to call a contractor to come in and pay prevailing wage. And if the number, I feel, John looked it up on his computer.
I did
on used
research,
ones.
I researched the machine, and it's a used machine in the condition that's in is very expensive. I don't know. Problem is, you put the number out in the public, and we're gonna end up paying whatever I say the number's gonna be, because,
20,000?
yeah, 20,000.
I think what we should do is just follow the Auctions International, maybe periodically bid on it, so nobody knows what we really want to pay for it, and see what happens with it, and let the board give me a number that I can't exceed. The other side of that coin is, I do know...
I have the number, but once it comes out on this, that's what we pay.
So basically, you're asking us for
Well, the other
permission
thing
to
is,
follow it and buy it.
You have to pay 14% too on that. We don't pay sales tax.
Right now, it's on Auctions International, the current bid is like $12,000.
That's gone up to 50.
I have a
I'm
quick
sorry,
question.
it's done.
Is this, can the town bid on equipment? Okay, just wanted to make sure.
I know I've spoke with your supervisor.
So it's not any procurement
and,
policy violation, right?
Your supervisors feel it's a needed. I know we've identified it when we were talking about that specialized drainage system, that has to be done, I think it was once a
Annually.
year, twice a year.
Annually.
And then we've obviously, without the proper equipment, we've kind of neglected some of our other storm drains. I think it's a worthy investment, and I would support
I
it.
have the number,
I just want to tell the town board, and our engineer will verify this new MS4 stormwater management program that the town of Wilton is involved in is very costly. We don't get nothing from the state, even though we got to take care of it all, and I give our files to him, and he files. And we're supposed to be cleaning. I do, we got to do a better job, I'll put it that way, on our stormwater, and we're working very diligently on it. This will really help us, and I can send the records and stuff to him, and maybe we can, maybe we get it accomplished. I don't know what the finances is. I talked with our controller yesterday, today. I talked with my foreman. I talked to my liaison 2 or 3 times, and I'm just trying to help the town, accomplish what we really are required to do, and if it's okay, fine.
I think that sounds good.
and I think with my policy, he is getting rid of a piece of equipment as well.
And we do get rid of a piece of equipment besides, that was built in 1987. So it's-
That's this trailer mounted.
Yeah, we should consider the financial impact of this, and, buying something at year end, and I talked to Maria about this, and Maria, you want to just kind of weigh in on your thoughts on this?
So I have a lot of questions, just as, I guess as controller, but as citizen also. A piece of equipment that cost $400,000 to the owner, the current owner, and then 2 years ago invested another $40,000 in it, and now is willing to let it go. Why? Do we know the condition that the piece of equipment is in?
Well, we sent out two of his guys to actually,
She's not, it's mixed up. They bought a new piece for $480. They spent $30 or $35 on the old one.
Okay, so with spending 35 or however much they spent on the old one just 2 years ago, what's the impetus behind getting rid of that particular piece of machinery now? It's just a question, I just feel that there are more questions than answers. At this point, it being the first week of December, we're looking right ahead to the end of the year. The town's fiscal year end is coming up. From my point of view, I am concerned about finances without knowing what's going to happen. I'm just cautious about it. I'd also like to explore our procurement policy with regard to spending X number of dollars on a piece of machinery. So we just need some time, I guess, to really delve into those questions and get some answers in terms of the condition of the equipment and so forth.
condition's been taken care of.
Okay.
Because we did send out 2 highway guys to actually check the piece out, which is the first thing I had asked.
Is that
Good.
the mechanical
The
part? of it?
mechanical end of it.
Okay, so we have knowledge of what would happen if we purchased the equipment and it doesn't work, or it doesn't work as expected.
We have all the records, service
Right.
records were guaranteed to be given to us, and this machine was bought brand new by that township that owns it right now.
Right.
So knowing what I know about it, knowing what my mechanics know about it, and the pictures that were taken satisfies my conscience, even though it's a used piece of equipment. The superintendent down there told me that he was having a problem getting the new one, and the board said, let's fix the old one. And I don't know whether politics changed there or not, that I don't know, but they fixed the old one and started using it. Then all of a sudden, well, we're going to get a new one. So that's what they did. They had the money to do it, and these options do not come by every single day. I've been tracking this down for 6 or 7 years, and it's an option for us, like our sweeper that we bought used, 2 or 3 years
And
ago.
I did about 6 comparatives with this actual piece. I found one that was a year newer with more miles. It was twice the money what I expect to buy this piece of equipment for. 2 times the amount. Actually, a little more than twice the amount.
So even if we had to put a little bit of money into it, it'd still be worth it in the end.
Well, we are gonna need to put tires on it, that I know.
I talked to our, a vendor that helps us out on our 2 sweepers, and he's venturing in at a much, much higher number for a used piece of equipment, and we've been doing business with that company a long time. He's never lied to me. Knowing what he's told me, and then knowing this has come on to the auctions was an important issue for us that we've been searching around for probably 5, 6, 7 years. But I just thought I'd let the board know what's happening and try this out, that's all.
Hey, Kirk, is this, we had talked about the excavator or something to work on MS4 stuff, and we were talking about maybe leasing one to see if, before we bought it. Is this the same piece of?
No.
No. This is a pump truck.
Sucker.
This is the big.
So there's nothing to do with the MS4
There's a
stuff?
big reel on it with water on it, it's a jet system.
It'll be able to maintain this.
And we have extra pipe that you can add to it, so we can get down 15, 18 feet with no problem at all, and keep on doing our job. It's well worth the money, it's well worth the environment.
Well, it's worth the money that you and I have agreed on.
The primary purpose of this truck is just an industrial vacuum cleaner, it'll suck out dirt. You can do excavation around, gas lines, water lines without using a backhoe, an excavator, or anything like that. So you're not damaging the existing infrastructure that's in the ground. So you just vacuum out the sand around these structures. So it's much safer means of excavating. And that's its primary purpose.
Niskayuna has one, Saratoga has one, Billy Morris has one, because that's the one we rent.
Yeah.
And it's $12,000 to rent it. And
How is
I'm
this
thinking
different from the ones we use, the 2 that suck out now? They just don't go that deep enough, is
They
it?
won't go down past 9
They're not as
8 feet.
powerful. They're more of just a street sweeper, so they're cleaning the sands off the road, whereas this piece of equipment is more for
Below grade.
below grade cleaning, excavating around, underground utilities, and cleaning out existing drain structures, the sumps within the structure, so it's just the muck at the bottom of the structure, which is required to be cleaned out by DEC in the MS4 program. So.
I think it's worth taking a risk, personally.
Well, I don't think
I'm
there's a
just-
risk.
You know what I'm saying,
At my number, there's no risk.
Okay.
This could be turned around.
The only thing is,
That's your number.
if
Say
it's
400,000.
whatever the number is, it's probably not in the budget, so somehow Maria would have to come up with where the money would be transferred from.
The hell is she gonna do that if she don't know the number?
Tell her
She knows the number.
All right.
She knows all the numbers.
We don't have to get a number when we approve. I don't know. This has never come up before.
Because we don't know what.
Right, the problem is exactly as John says, which is if you put out there a not to exceed, then all of a sudden, guess what?
They're gonna be bidding on their own piece of
So what you'll have
equipment.
to do is authorize the highway superintendent to follow the bid, make the bid, and subject to board ratification. The
Using
actual
his
price.
judgment.
Just with an email.
Well, eventually, subject to board ratification at a meeting, but
Why don't we
along
just,
the way, you can do it anyway, you can communicate however you like.
Could we approve Kirk to bid on this thing up until the end, and then do we have to put a number on it, or just come back?
Well, that's what we're trying to say. The problem with putting a number on it right now in a public meeting is that all of a sudden, guess what?
Right.
That's our number.
They know they're going that high.
Exactly, and we'll be
Be bidding against their own stuff.
Exactly.
Because that's what I
We'll
do.
be negotiating against ourselves.
That's a no-brainer.
So
We authorize Kirk to follow up on the bid, but not
any decision ultimately will be subject to board ratification.
When does the auction end? When is the last?
Next Friday, I think it's 7 o'clock, 7 PM.
It's next Friday or tomorrow?
8 days.
Next Friday.
Oh, so yeah, then we definitely don't want to give that number out.
So
I was thinking we only had
theoretically,
24 hours.
the day
but-
before Thursday, we should kind of see kind of a climax as to the
Well, we're
bid.
going to follow it, that's what I
Right.
wanted to do. and-
Right, obviously you would.
He wants to bid on it without getting in trouble.
I just want to bid on it without getting in trouble, and then if we are the successful
They're
bidder,
always in trouble.
we're stuck, because that happened to me a long time ago, and I'm not going to do that again. I have that experience, I bid on a piece of equipment, a paver, a long time ago. The board gave me $8,000 to buy it, and I went over to the guy who was running me up on the paver. So I knew when I was at 8,000, I couldn't go no more. But what I did is I said, okay, you want it, and you're going to pay for it. So I bid a couple extra thousand extra. So I pushed him a little bit. That's not what I want to do.
I think we also have to consider procurement policy.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have
We
to
do have a
follow-
procurement policy, I don't want to violate that.
Mark,
Right.
can we appoint
But we have at least a week to get the details
to
out.
make the
Correct.
decision, yes,
Yes.
no?
I'm thinking we had till tomorrow.
And it would still be subject to ultimate board ratification. but
So what do we want, just authorize Kirk to
Bid on the,
bid on it, or watch the bid, and I don't know how the hell we do this.
I was just asking over here, just at my far left, if the liaison to the highway and he could work together with
I got my number.
right, with a mutually agreed number.
I can pass my number along if you'd like to see it.
Yeah, but,
Do we have to publish that number in public?
No, that's what I'm saying, is you don't want to publish the number.
I don't want to publish.
He's got a number he thinks it's worth. If we all look at that number and agree to it, do we have to publish it?
Yeah, let's not go through a charade about it.
yeah, no.
If you want to allow the highway superintendent to follow along and then have a board member be designated as his contact person, it's still ultimately going to be subject to board ratification. And as the comptroller says, I haven't looked at our, municipal participation in bidding like this is not violative of generally of procurement policies, but I haven't looked at ours in a long time. I don't remember if anything it says about that.
So if Kirk goes to John at the, and then we authorize John to sign off on it if it's
Speak as
okay.
the board.
okay.
Would that be permissible?
As an interim step, it's still going to be subject ultimately to board ratification. And then that would be an open public meeting ratification.
By then, we own it.
Can I just mention, as someone who knows about auctions, when you bid on an auction and you win, okay, board approval or not, that's a contract, if I'm correct, under whatever law, so.
It is.
You need to take that under consideration.
Right, I know.
If we bid on,
we know
if he
that.
wins.
Well, the nice,
Approve it.
the nice thing about Auctions International, if we don't pay for it, they just say we can't buy from there no more.
No. No,
You need a motion to,
I don't even know if you just,
I wouldn't go that far.
okay.
no,
about
I
it?
would just have,
The highway liaison work with
and
the
work with Kirk on
supervisor and the
going through the
comptroller.
bidding process.
Okay,
Right?
Thanks, Kurt.
Thank
there
you.
you go.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
And Maria, because I can't do anything without Maria.
That's what I'm saying. You, the supervisor, and the comptroller work together.
Should have just put it in the budget for a new one, Kurt. What's $500,000?
Okay, any other, that's done with committee reports? Other business, we got controllers report.
Yes.
Maria?
So the first 5 items on the report have to do with parks. Various departments within parks have money that is going to be reallocated to the actual parks department. And the reasons for that is because of the various overages and certain expenses that were not budgeted because there were things that just happened throughout the normal course of wear and tear, such as there's crack fill, alarm generators, and There's also a project that is planned for, which is the LED project, which is a great project. It's going to be fantastic for the park. So basically, those 5 items are just reallocating funds from programs that have excess revenue to programs that need to increase their revenue. So there's no additional revenues that are being sought for those expenses. The 6th item is simply, again, reallocating salaries from maintenance of roads to snow removal, just based on the season that we're in. There was money available in the maintenance of roads, so it's just being redistributed to the snow removal. And the last item in this budget transfer category is just reallocating money again from permanent improvements to highway snow removal because of the overages in salt and sand purchases. We have, and that was already agreed upon by the board, and so this just represents a need to have a town board ratification of that, which they've already agreed on. We have some budget amendments also. I am looking to increase my minor equipment for the controller based on money that's available in one category. Want to move it over to another. And then the second item in the budget amendment is to use contingent account to cover estimated overage in the salary line for the controller because the previous controller had a salary payout for the vacation. So that's the only reason why there was an overage in the salary line. So I'm just looking to, even that money out by using the contingent category. That's it for budget transfers.
Any questions, Marie, on that?
You are going to take more vacation time than the previous controller, right?
I would like to.
Make a motion to approve the transfers as written.
In the
Budget amendments.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further questions or discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So moved.
Under the first category for personnel, we have a planned conference for the Association of Towns that's coming up in February, and board members and myself are requesting permission to go on that trip. It's in New York City on February 17th through the 20th. And then we additionally have, aside from the people who are listed here on the controller's report, we have a request for 1 member each from the building and 1 member from the zoning department. Planning and zoning, I'm so sorry. Planning and zoning. In addition to that, we have Karen James, who's accepted the part-time position of town historian at an annual salary of $3,300, and her appointment would be effective January 1st of 2019.
Are we approving all these at the same time?
Yeah, why don't we do, Maria, let's do the A first, the approval for the Association of Towns. Someone would like to move that?
Got it? Good. I'll make the motion to allow the board members and 2, 1 planning and 1 zoning board member to attend the Association of Town, New York City.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So moved. Now we go to Karen.
Yep. Item B is Karen James. She's accepted the part-time position of town historian effective January 1st of 2019, and her annual salary will be $3,300.
I make a motion to appoint Karen James to town historian. And thank you for stepping up, Karen.
Is Karen out there? Yes.
I'll second it.
Thanks, Karen.
Yes.
I have a
That's
motion
at
and a second.
3,300.
Karen will do a great job with that, so.
Yeah, excellent.
So, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Big shoes.
Any opposed? So moved.
And item C, Josh Vinchek has accepted the position of dog control officer at the annual salary of $19,500, and that's also effective January 1st of 2019.
I'll make a motion to approve Josh Vincek as a new DCO. for 19.5.
Absolutely.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any opposed? So moved. Also, the current on-call backup to Ron, Jim Shera, has agreed to continue on as the backup. Okay. Where are we at? Okay. We do have, hopefully, a brief executive session to adjourn to. Is there any other business before we go into executive session?
What's the executive session for?
I'm sorry, yeah, personnel.
I don't have anything.
Anything else? Okay. Hope not to be long, but if for some reason you leave, I just want to wish everybody Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everybody.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
So I need a motion to adjourn to executive session.
If we adjourn for a minute, I would just like to see if we give a moment of silence for one of my employees that just recently passed away, Rich Stryker. He was sick for a little while, he's going to bury National Cemetery. I appreciate that.
We will. We'll have a moment of silence for Rich. Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion, we have a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn to executive session.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.